to episode 32 of Floating Through Film. This week we'll be finishing our horror month with Panos Cosmatos and Beyond the Black Rainbow and Mandy. But before we get into that, I'll introduce my host this week. I actually remember this time. Luke.
Hello.
And Danny.
Hello.
Okay, and so sometimes Luke says it's hard to talk about movies, or hard to review some movies, and sometimes I disagree with him. This time I definitely agree, at least with Beyond the Black Rainbow. I think Mandy has a little bit more substance to it, but Beyond the Black Rainbow, one of the first bullet points I had in my notes was, this is the epitome of style over substance. And I knew that anyway coming into it, because I loved this movie whenever I first watched it, because the style kind of just overwhelms you. Mm-hmm. Like, the use of the ambient sounds, and, well, I'm okay, so, like, I'm a stoner. And like that obviously like helps this movie because the ambient sounds really draw you into like just watching all these visuals flow around. And at least the first time I watched it, I was high. This time I wasn't. The first time I did, I was. And the waking life that she's kind of walking through, because the way he films her, like Elena, the main girl we follow, that like she's like walking through a dream almost. Yeah. And it takes a long time. And you have to be in a certain mood, I feel like, for this movie. But there's really not a lot of substance to it. I don't know. Yeah. But what do you guys think about the movie as a whole first?
Yeah, I have to agree with you right here. First time ever watching it, of course, visuals are amazing. But I just like, the whole movie, I felt nothing, you know. It felt like it had nothing to say. Like, it was just made for the visuals, which, you know, I respect it for that. Like, I'm not like thinking it's like, like a bad thing that's being made for mainly the visuals, but it's just inherently something I didn't really enjoy that much, and had a pretty awful time with.
Awful time. See, this okay. I have to disagree there with the last part. Okay, I agree with everything else you said, basically.
I like looking at the visuals, but everything else was just like, this is like painful to watch.
Painful, interesting.
See,
these are not words.
Yes.
Those are the words.
I think you are a little. You're like a level lower than I probably am on it. But other than that, I kind of agree with what you guys have both been saying. Like, style over substance. I mean, I don't know if he's trying. I don't mind a movie that's style over substance.
Oh, me
neither. Yeah,
I actually love certain movies like that.
It is.
But the one difference is, it seems like this movie is trying to be a substance movie. Right?
Kind of, yeah.
Where it's like trying to tell really serious, like, you know, it's a girl trying to, escape a, same theme as Mandy, but, just like a cult-like figure of a male.
This is, I feel like, well, when did A24, like, when was it created? Because, like, I feel like they watched this movie, and that's, like, what they made their brand off of, basically. It's, like, high-concept horror movies that are trying to be something, but fail at it.
Okay, now I see what you're saying.
Like, that's what I'm talking about.
Look out, A24 fans.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, sorry. There are a lot of A24 fans, that's true. But I don't like A24 that much. I mean, they have some good movies, but...
Yeah, didn't they make a Claire Denis movie?
High Life? Was that A24?
I was thinking of Moonlight for a good...
Moonlight, too.
Moonlight's good, yeah.
And Uncut Gems.
But I actually see what he's saying. Like, you're talking about the Ari Aster.
I'm talking about, like, the Ari Asters, like, the Green Knight, like, the horror side.
The Green Knight. I mean, okay, but I see what you're saying, same thing. That's more the Mandy vein, but... Okay.
Yes.
But yeah, keep going, sorry.
No, that's just what I was trying to say with that point. Was, like, it just feels like they watched... Like, Panos Cosmatos was definitely not the star of this, because I know, at least whenever you sent... Because I didn't see that Luke gave, like, what Luke's star rating was for this at first. And then you sent that, I was like, holy shit, that's really low. But, like,
I actually thought Luke would appreciate. I thought you would appreciate it.
I thought you would too.
Jacques Demy himself, the classic style over substance. But
no, we're not even entertaining that. All right, my 2 stars were exclusively for the visuals, pretty much.
Exclusively for the visuals.
Everything else, I was just like, it's just.
And I was kidding about Jacques Demy.
Yes, for
sure.
Yeah.
But
you better be kidding.
No, but I'm kidding more in terms of he knows what he is.
Definitely.
Yeah. And this movie doesn't feel like it knows what it is.
Honestly, yeah.
And Blake made a good point, because after. And we can mention what you said too, because I actually thought you made a good point, like in terms of how when people use that term style over substance, like they film is a stylized medium in the first place, so you kind of have to expect that.
Yeah, and they see a lot of people see the style, and then if they don't like the movie, they won't even like try to search for the substance, basically.
Yes.
And it's movies like like House, amazing Japanese horror movie that is a lot smarter than people give it credit for. Everyone talks about how it's such like a crazy fun movie, which it is, but none of them look for how it's about trauma and especially in the aftermath of the nuclear bomb and how beautiful it is. I just see a lot of people not wanting to engage with it any further, which kind of pisses me off. It's another buzzword I hate.
No, okay, I see what you're saying there.
It's kind of dated my view on the term in general. But I do think it can be true, definitely. The more I think about it, there's definitely cases like this one where it is true.
And I don't even think, and once again, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think the only reason it doesn't work here, in my opinion, is like Blake was saying, it kind of has that A24 vibe of it's trying to be more than just a stylized sci-fi movie.
Yeah,
it's trying to say something more serious about the world, almost like too on your nose social message. Like A24 loves sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that's what you're saying. Honestly, I don't even like the term high concept horror movie or high concept sci-fi because
I don't even know.
It's like trying to make you seem like you're outside of the genre when you're still in the same genre as other movies that might be considered low concept but are still way better movies than your movie just because you call it high concept doesn't make it good.
Yes.
Basically.
For sure.
Is what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
This movie's hard to talk about.
But we haven't really gotten to the movie.
No, yeah, well, we haven't gotten into the movie. It starts with the doctor opening up, or I think it's his name, Dr. Arborio or something. Because it starts with him just talking about kind of just he's trying to induct you into a cult basically, which is what this whole movie's. I mean, that's what the whole movie's about. Is cults.
Because this. Speaking of, well, actually no, Get Out's not A24. But do you remember the video they watch when he's being hypnotized?
Yes, I thought that.
It's a very similar kind of shots to this what you're saying here.
Yes, I thought of that actually. That scene while I was watching that too. It opens with him talking about that. Then we see the title card Beyond the Black Rainbow.
Great title.
No, it is a great title, and whenever you figure out what the Black Rainbow is, it's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
But then we get introduced to Elena the first time. We get all those pyramids and stuff. I still don't know what the pyramid actually is. I think it's a conduit to control her psychic powers. Because I think she has psychic powers, obviously.
I had no idea what was going on.
Is it a pod or something?
What?
Those diamond things?
I don't think it's a pod.
Oh, okay.
I just thought it was a pyramid of some kind, like an energy, a type of energy. I don't know.
Okay.
See, this is where the movie is definitely being style over substance. I mean, because it's got really cool visuals, but you don't really it's not really doing anything with it, kind of.
Yeah. Besides
telling this cult story of the whole movie is about. I'm just gonna skip ahead because I don't really care about a lot of the stuff that happens in this movie, honestly. We meet Barry. We meet Barry. The I don't even know what he is. I think he's a doctor, maybe, but it's
creepy guy. Creepy doctor.
Yeah. Oh, very creepy.
Part of the cult, more important.
Yes, he's part of the cult, and this is what I wanted to get to. Why I'm just skipping to the halfway point in the movie because that's whenever the movie actually starts. Well, it does. Leading up to it, you're just confused as to why she's here. It's about the visuals.
It's a very slow experience.
Yes.
You're seeing reds and blacks and whites.
Reds, orange, blacks, white. All these different colors just flashing at you. And it's got a great score the entire time it's happening. But the first actual scene that kind of tells you what's happening is the scene where it goes to black and white. It's like whenever he's talking to the doctor and then he has the flashback.
With him going to the pit and stuff?
Yes, basically, he emerges from that black pit and stuff like that. It's basically the first time it's his induction. It's his induction. Yeah. Oh yes, it's probably the best one in the movie in my opinion.
Yeah.
But it's his induction into the cult, and that's whenever it shows Elena getting she's born from that girl that he kills at the very end.
Yeah.
And then they give her something to make her psychic. They give her psychic powers or something, I guess. Yeah. See, that's why, this movie just kind of doesn't make a ton of sense. This would be a great movie if it was trying... I think he was trying to say stuff, especially in the interrogation scenes. Before I skipped ahead. I skipped through the interrogation scenes. But yes, we can go back. Because I think he's trying to say something with the interrogation scenes, about trauma and about, losing your family and being trapped in somewhere that you don't want to be trapped in. Like a juvenile hall, like a juvenile ward or something. She's basically an orphan trapped in the system. Like, I think that's what it's trying to say.
The theme of, or some of the same kind of topics that was talked about in Haxon.
Yes.
You know, like the system controlling the women.
Yeah, the crazy woman.
Especially women, right? The crazy woman. This kind of has a similar theme to it, right?
Yes.
Like this authority controlling a woman that doesn't understand her really or whatever.
Yes.
But it's just like...
But it all falls apart whenever you bring in the cult. Because, like, why? It doesn't make any sense.
I think it's trying to give some kind of just weight to the whole thing.
I think so, too.
Yeah. I mean, because he obviously has interesting...
He does, yes.
That kind of cult... He likes the parallel between, obviously, the male authority figure over... in that relation to how a cult operates.
Yes.
You know, how everyone, like a cult leader has authority over their subjects.
Yes.
I think he's trying to make that kind of correlation, but like you're saying, it really doesn't feel like it needs that. You know, it could have just been a doctor in a lab.
Yeah.
It doesn't even really need all the cult stuff in this one, at least.
Yeah, I mean, the cult stuff is there just for the visuals.
Yeah.
And
it feels like that's what a lot of this movie is.
And a lot of Beyond the Black Rainbow is a first draft for Mandy, in my opinion. Because he does implement all these ideas way better in Mandy, because he actually gives you a reason to care, you know. But
I mean,
like that's
honestly,
that
he must have heard
is.
some of his criticism.
He must have, yes.
Yeah.
Like he gives you a reason to care in Mandy, but
honestly, it's like him, like, and if he was aware of it, because I don't know, I don't know too much about him, but if he was aware of that, just naming your next title like the reason for the whole movie, like. It kind of makes sense.
It does
right?
make
like
sense.
That because she is the heart of the movie.
She is, yeah.
And I guess we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll definitely get to that later. But yeah, we can continue on. So like after that, like the scene of him like being inducted in the cult. That's whenever like the movie. I don't want to say the movie starts because you've been in this waking dream with her this entire time basically. But like after that happens is whenever he goes back home. He takes off his appliances, which I was like, what even is this guy? Like that's whenever he gets like super fucking creepy. Because you're like, I don't even know what this guy is anymore. Like I don't know if he's human or what. And like this is where like the movie really does kind of fall off the rails. Like it really does.
It's one of the few, and I will rarely say this because in most cases I always love when a movie tells you something. Right?
Yes.
Basically leaves it for suggestion. But in this one, you're like. Just give me a little more. You know, just give me a little more information.
Like give me something.
I'm completely lost.
Yeah, and like I think he was very like he's trying to go for that. Let your imagination do most of the work.
Yes.
Thing. Yeah. But even then, I guess this is a lesson on. There's some kind of balance to that too.
There
is.
Like
you have to. I feel like there's what is there to him to leave for you to discover though? I feel like that's a problem. There's nothing for you to like think about like.
It feels very simple, but also like you're left
think about
wanting to know
someone
more.
like Antonioni who does that a lot. But he has many themes that you can easily think about when he leads up to interpretation.
And the questions I come from away from an Antonio movie are very clear at least. Like these are the kind of questions I'm asking myself.
Yes.
This movie is just like why? That's the only question I ask myself after the movie is like why? You know?
Yeah.
Why was it slow the whole time? Why couldn't she just walk out faster, basically?
Why couldn't she just walk out faster?
Well, see, it wouldn't look as good.
It definitely wouldn't look as good.
It wouldn't match the music.
It wouldn't match the music. Well, that's more like that's definitely an aesthetic choice in my opinion.
Oh, it is, and that's why you can still see for me at least, like I don't hate it as much as Luke.
No, me either.
To me, you can still see the bones, like you can still see the form of. I
the
like how he's trying to be patient.
Yes.
He's at least using the synth scores well. You know, to some degree.
Yeah, this movie does not need to be an hour 50 though, for sure. Like it's way too long, way too long.
No, an hour 30,
Yeah, because the first, like I said, I think it was around the hour mark or the 50 mark.
Like
whenever that scene of like we actually get the first kind of substance in the movie of like what the fuck's even going on, kind of is like at the hour mark, and then after that, just like you still
get her at least some
with the interrogation scene,
interrogation, like the scene with the picture.
Yeah, and that's a really cool scene. I'm glad that you mentioned that because I actually forgot about that scene because like that's whenever we see that she actually is confirmed to have psychic powers at least because like it's another scene where he turns down a knob and the pyramid light goes away. That's why I thought it was like something to control her ESP powers, but like this movie's also very anime in my opinion. I don't know, very very anime influenced because at least. The psychic girl that like kills people like this, I don't know. It feels very anime, and the movie in general just feels anime. Like that orange suit, yeah. Oh yeah.
Heavily stylization we've been talking about that can apply to anime. A lot,
oh yes, it definitely can.
But anime, that is the medium, though.
That is the medium. Yes.
Like so, that can also be at least more of a good thing in certain cases.
No, yeah, because that scene of her killing the nurse is really good.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the scary scenes in the movie, and it's like it's a pretty tense scene, and it's really well shot because like she just literally like you don't really see anything. Her face starts moving all weird, and then you just see the nurse. You just see the nurse like turn around and go like, "I didn't mean it. Please stop." And then like her eyes just like.
Yeah. And the doctor just like knowing what's going to happen.
Oh yeah, no, the doctor wanted that to happen because she found the notebook before about like what he was trying. Just that notebook was also just like that's another scene where it was just like you're trying to give us something, but I literally don't know what you're trying to do here.
I mean, to me, that one felt like it was just trying to add like the cult just added for the visuals. You know, it has some cool pictures.
No,
like,
it looked really cool.
When it shows a montage of his notebook or whatever, but
yeah, the montage of his notebook. No, yeah. But then we can finally get to like we should talk about the thing in the orange suit because that thing is really fucking cool. Okay, yeah, like all the shots. Yeah, the guy in the orange suit.
Okay, yeah.
And like the orange helmet and stuff, like that. Just all the shots with that are just fantastic. Like some of the best parts in the movie. And then whenever she's actually leaving and escaping the place, that's one of the scariest scenes. Whenever she gets in the elevator, she's going down. And then the elevator just opens, and that thing is literally towering above her. Like, you can't see its shoulders in the frame. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just like she's looking at his chest, and then it takes its face off, and you see just like this weird ass like something in there. I don't know what that. See, that's another thing where I'm just like, I don't know what he's saying with it, but it was cool.
It looks like the 2001 Baby a little bit.
Okay, honestly, yeah,
that's kind of look like that. I wrote down in my notes
some Kubrick influences too.
Like, oh yes, for sure.
I mean, a lot.
No, a lot.
But, no, I think I wrote down like Frostbitten Baby or something in my thing. But see, that's another part where it's definitely just style over substance because you don't know what the fuck that thing even is, and he doesn't try to explain it, which I kind of like. I kind of like about that part actually because it just lets her go. Like the thing's there. I think is supposed to be to keep her in that room or whatever.
Yeah.
Because it did before. Job, it did. Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying.
This guy just doing wandering around the whole place.
Yeah, apparently. But yeah, then she escapes and stuff. And this is whenever I actually like the ending of this movie. I think that's one of the strong parts of the movie. Because, like, you see, like, Barry goes back home or whatever, takes off his appliances, like I said. And then he's, like, discussing with with Rosemary. I think that's his maid or something. I don't know what she is. But he's, like, saying, like, I saw God, you know. Like, I saw God. He told me I'm the chosen one. I looked, and he looked like, and him looking through me is like looking at a black rainbow, you know, like that's where the title comes from, is that, and then he proceeds to like kill her because he says like I'm so far above everything in this world. It's a thing we'll see in Mandy for sure.
Is it the one where he smushed in her eyes?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah, it's that scene. But like that's the reason why I actually kind of like the ending because I love how he subverts the like this like person that thinks he's so high and mighty and like literally God almost. Like this literally just trips and dies on a rock. Like I love that ending honestly.
I like that. You're saying it does work better in Mandy.
It does work
better in Mandy. Like,
yes.
To me, that one feels more earned. This one, like, it just feels like the tonal shifts don't feel different.
No, yeah.
They're just too different almost. Like, and I see what you're saying. Like, it's supposed to be a comedic ending almost. Yeah.
No, yeah. I just like how because for her there was no real. Well, I don't know why she doesn't use her ESP powers. Apparently that she has. To just kill him too. I don't know. That's another thing that doesn't make sense. Maybe she needs the pyramid. I don't know to use it. I don't know. But I don't know. I did just kind of like how it ended because him like a man that thinks he's that great, just like needing a teenage girl basically, and then like needing her so much, telling her to come to him, and then whenever she doesn't, he like gets his foot stuck and just trips and hits his head on a rock and dies. Like I don't know. I just kind of like it. I thought it was funny. I think it's supposed to be. I don't know. I thought it worked for the movie, but.
I don't know if he would agree with you if he thinks it's supposed to be funny.
Yeah, I'm not.
Well, you think she laughs though? She literally laughs because she's like, "This is what it took for me to basically be free," you know, like a twist, like God watching out for her, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a good reason of it.
I don't know, and then it just ends like the literal last shot is her just walking into the actual real world again. Yeah. Which I mean, that's just a very ambiguous ending, just like the entire movie. Yeah. But yeah, so we obviously, me and Danny used to like this movie quite a bit actually. Like I liked it enough to buy the Blu-ray, but watching it a second time, and we watched this probably 4 years ago.
I think 2018 I watched.
Yeah, 4 years ago I'm pretty sure. So we've definitely watched a lot more movies since then too, but this time I definitely felt the style was not enough to overcome the lack of substance. Because sometimes it is for me.
Yeah,
but this time
that's honestly a better term than the regular style over substance. I feel like.
Yeah.
That's a better a better term.
A better way to say it.
Yeah, better way to say it. But
yeah, but we can just go ahead and get into the better movie. Mandy, the one I also didn't take notes on because we all watched this one together actually on Sunday, which is awesome.
Let's see if we can recall it.
Let's see if we can recall this at all. No, so Mandy is it's honestly one of my I don't want to say one of my favorite movies, but I do really love Mandy a lot. It's one of the ones that at least made me want to watch Panos Cosmatos Beyond the Black Rainbow. It's one of the ones that kind of got me more into like this visual style of horror, of like this visual like just kind of like like the acid type of horror, almost like that. I don't know.
Hallucinogenic.
Yeah, hallucinogenic horror. Because like after this, I think I watched A Feel in England too, which is really good. But
which one?
A Feel in England. I think I watched that after this too, which was really good. That's Ben Wheatley. But yeah, no. What we were saying, as we were saying with Beyond the Black Rainbow, at least what I was saying with Beyond the Black Rainbow, is it doesn't really give you a reason to care, and that is the big thing that changed in Mandy, in my opinion, because he spends, whereas in Beyond the Black Rainbow, he spends a lot of time setting that movie up to say nothing. This one, he spends a lot of time just with Mandy and Red at their house, like building up their relationship and making you realize like why like they need each other, and they do have these scenes of talking about like their broken kind of like their past, like they do have these scenes about their past and stuff, and like kind of why they're drawn together, and it really works probably because of Nick Cage and what is the girl's name? I always forget her name.
Angela Risenborough.
Yeah, Risenborough is her last name. It really works because their chemistry is great together.
I just like how he like jumps between moments. They're not really connected. He just kind of jumps between them. It feels.
And her name is Andrea Riseborough.
Andrea Riseborough.
It feels very like spacey and like lucid, basically.
Yes.
But yeah.
And at least compared to the last one, like the visuals feel more at least fun in this one, at least for the first half or first third, because in Beyond the Black Rainbow, from the very beginning of the movie, she's trapped.
Yes.
It's almost like a tense situation, Yeah. In this one, it's like, at least you get to enjoy their time together, at least, with the visuals. Almost like it's like a classic horror movie, where you see family, you see a happy family before they get killed.
Yeah.
But this one, you spend a little more time with them, and it feels at least a little more real, like why they would end up in the forest together alone.
Yes.
Yeah, you get empathy for the characters.
Yes. Yeah.
Which you didn't get Beyond the Black Rainbow.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
And it definitely does help the actors that he has for them too.
That's a huge thing too. Yeah, especially honestly both of them.
Yeah, because like if Andrea Riseborough wasn't as great as she is as Mandy, I don't know if this movie would have worked as well as it did. At least
one scene specifically too.
Yes.
With the, we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. Yeah. That's one of the best scenes.
It's my favorite scene.
But yeah, because so I think the first 30 minutes of this movie at least is just their relationship, and then we finally get the title card of the children of the New Dawn coming in, and then like we see them for the first time. This is the cult. This is another thing that he just made better from Beyond the Black Rainbow. Like he actually has in this one more of a vision for what he's going to do with this cult, because at this point the cult is fully formed. They have people already completely bought into the cult, already completely under this guy's control, and we'll get to this later in the movie, but you actually see stuff that people in real life were doing to induct people into cults. Like they would actually drug and hallucinate, they would try and drug, they would abduct people and drug them to induct them into their cults.
And it's drugged them so much to where
to where like well, it's not even they can't leave. It's just like they fuck their brains at that point. Like
where they can't leave.
To where they can't leave.
They don't know what's happening.
Where they're like they don't know what's happening. They have to rely on the drug, because they're addicted to it. Yeah. Like he actually had like this. It's more realistic. Like as much as this movie can be realistic, this is at least a realistic opening.
And you saying that made me like how I mentioned earlier how he's trying, at least in my opinion, he's trying to make the connection between that male figure that wants to dominate women to how cult operates with the subjects, right?
Yes, and
through those forms of addiction and that kind of, right? Making you rely on the person.
It's way more coherent.
Yes, and it makes it works very perfectly, right?
Yes, and it's also probably because of the act. Well, I honestly thought the actor for Barry was decent because he is really fucking creepy.
Yeah, true.
But this one, Jeremiah, the guy who plays Jeremiah is really good because he really brings this this ego that is necessary for a cult leader to work, because like we can just get to the scene that we're talking about, the best scene, like one of the best scenes of the movie, whenever they do finally abduct Mandy, or like first they call the Cenobites, which is an amazing scene. We can't forget that scene, because that is an amazing scene. Just like, this is the stuff that works for me, where you don't have to explain anything, because you're just like, he just has like a horn of some fucking shit. I'm just like, yes, I don't tell me anything. I love this shit. Like this is why I die for.
They're like Hellraiser, like
literally Hellraiser stuff. Like it's definitely inspired by Cenobites from Hellraiser for sure. So they call them, and then like those are the people that abduct Mandy and Red, in a really really intense scene, honestly, because like anything with like strobe lighting just makes me kind of freak out, because like I don't have seizures or anything like that, but that strobe lighting shit, it just like, it gives me a headache.
So you're talking about the scene where they abduct
whenever they actually abduct
I just love that. I love those shots though.
Yes.
Like, I think he really uses lighting really well in both movies, but this one is just insane. All the different filters and gels and stuff they use, like, I don't know, it just fits the mood of the movie, like you're saying, the kind of acidic, hallucinogenic, whatever word you want to use, phantasmagoric. I don't. All these words I can't pronounce.
Yeah, because after they're abducted, we get the scene with what we were talking about like what cults would actually do. Like, they gave her at least a version of LSD. This is apparently, at least in the movie's terms, this is one of the most potent versions of LSD. Because that's what after like later on in the movie, Red goes to a friend to get weapons, and the friend tells him like there are these like hippies
Lucius Fox.
Yeah, his Lucius, basically. Actually, that's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. Because he basically just tells him that there's like this acid maker that makes like an acid that just
they also
breaks your brain almost.
They also have a scorpion.
Yeah, it's a hornet. It's a hornet. Yeah, like there's a hornet that they sting you also, which like that scene of them forcing her to take acid through, like with an eye drop, because that's how a lot of people would do it, obviously, with an eye drop. And then just like, I hate anything with like needles, and like we should have talked about the needle scene Beyond the Black Rainbow with him stabbing the doctor with that syringe between the toes, because that scene was really creepy. Another type of the thing, of something like in The Thing, where John Carpenter was like, anytime people watch needles, like shit like that, it's always like something worse than like actual horror. Yeah. But what were we talking about before I got to that? We were talking about needles and shit.
Well,
the hornet sting. So like the hornet sting. They sting her with the hornet, and like this is also where this waking dream that he was doing in like Beyond the Black Rainbow works so much better in this movie, because I think he's just at this point he's obviously just grown as a filmmaker, as we've been talking. But the cinematography and the lighting in these scenes and the music in these scenes compared to Beyond the Black Rainbow is just like like a few tiers above.
Yeah. And kind of speaking on that, I'm gonna look up Mandy's, but I know because I looked up Beyond the Black Rainbow's budget, and we should give it.
Major
$1.1 million budget for Beyond the Black Rainbow for an hour 50-minute film, like you said. Yeah. It's definitely stretching its limits there, but still, like for $1.1 million budget, like it's amazing. You know, it's kind of crazy. Like, fucking
like this was
Black
all
Adam
done
just came out. That cost like 200.
God.
That had a $200 million budget. You know,
we're seeing that this weekend, right?
Yeah,
I thought we bought tickets already.
Review coming out next week. That's our next classic series.
Okay,
that's our next classic movie.
Oh my God. But let me look up Mandy's budget really quick.
Do that.
But this is the scene where his like face.
But
yes,
$6 million. You know, he got to multiply his budget by 6 million budget. This
wow,
one. So.
That's honestly insane. This is only $6 million budget.
Yeah.
Like, see, this is why I love Nick Cage, because he doesn't take just a massive paycheck. He'll just do fucking movies. But
especially in we haven't even mentioned him yet, which is kind of probably our fault.
It's because the first half of the movie isn't really about him at all.
It's her movie, at least for the first
her
third.
movie, yeah. And it is her movie, the entire movie, honestly. But
and in some ways, this is kind of like
it's the transition.
It's not exactly a third movie, but it's like her first third.
Yes.
And then you get him, the cult leader, in the middle third.
Yeah.
And kind of both of them.
Yeah.
But then it's Nick Cage the last third.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
So, I mean, we kind of really haven't got to his best scenes, so...
Oh, we haven't gotten to any of his best scenes, because at this point, all we know is we love Mandy, and Red is a really nice guy.
Yeah.
You know? Like he seems like a really great guy. That's all we know.
He's like a gentle giant kind of guy.
Literally, yeah.
And it helps us Nick Cage, too.
Oh, yes, for sure. But continuing on with the scene of her getting drugged and them trying to like induct her at the cult, they bring her in front of Jeremiah drugged, and then this is the stuff that definitely would like this is the stuff that would influence someone to think that this person is greater than like they are, you know, because you're under all these drugs and stuff. The house that he's in, at least, is set up, at least that shot of her whenever she's looking up at him and he's just standing there with the beams behind him, like the beams of the house behind him. It looks like rays of light and like he's trying to be Jesus. Like it's literally like this is how they would do it to try and make you to try and make the cult leader seem bigger than life. And then he plays a song he made, and she just dies laughing. And you have to, because it's a hilarious song. It's so fucking bad. And once she starts laughing, that's whenever I was talking about like how Jeremiah is so important in this movie, the actor for Jeremiah, because like that ego is so fragile and it crumbles so fast, because like he literally like undresses in front of her, like shows his fucking dick, and then he's expecting her to have like some like erotic reaction to this, and she just starts fucking laughing, dying laughing, and you can just tell his fragile male ego is like is shook by this.
And then he starts beating off.
And then he starts being off, trying to. He doesn't succeed.
Yeah.
But
it's like, I mean, this is the whole thing, right? Like, why do men have these insecurities, and they show them by being over aggressive or over authoritarian, like territorial almost, you know?
Yes.
And so when like he thinks he's already won in this case, right? He's like tied up her husband, like he's drugged her. All the people on the couch are basically like drugged out of their mind, just smiling and stuff. And he's expecting like her to kind of just join the cult almost, like. Yep. And he's kind of, it's like this blind confidence, like he's just expecting this to happen.
It's this blind confidence because he's done it 5 times before, apparently.
Apparently. And that's the thing, we don't get like flashbacks of it happening to the past or anything, right?
Yeah.
We kind of just have to assume like, how did they even get to this point?
Yeah.
You know?
And it is something you assume, because at least the young girl that the young girl in the cult that Panos Cosmatos films, he films her in a way different light than the other one.
Because there's a scary scene with her. Remember where this is after with Nick Cage. It's after. Tied up. Okay, yeah, we'll get there then. Yeah. But or I'll just mention.
No, yeah, we can just get into that, because like after because that's like the scene after this is like, because the reason that scene happens is he's so shook by this that he basically just has her killed, you know, like burned like a witch. So.
But yeah, that's what I was saying though, like. And this was what leads to that male aggression, right? Yes. It's like, this is what they're scared of, that reaction that she has. Like, it's kind of what the whole movie is almost surrounded by, right? Like, this is why he uses drugs. This is why he wants this kind of power. It's because he doesn't want this reaction from women specifically.
He can't handle rejection.
Yes. Yes, rejection, or just like this kind of, the fact that a woman might not want him. Yeah. You know? Like, and it's obviously done, and this is why he uses the cult metaphor, right? Because it works really well as a cult, right? Like a cult leader having this kind of blind arrogance about them that only people in the cult can see, right? Or actually think of them as positive instead of just, the male ego.
The male ego, like literally just realizing how pathetic this man is. And that's like why Mandy's so amazing. Like why Mandy, like her in general, is so amazing, because she realizes that immediately. Like,
and then we're gonna keep going, and this is why I kind of think I really like the movie, because it also has a certain honesty about it. Right? Because the next scene, she dies. Yes. Because she kind of has to die because of that reaction. Yeah. Right? Like, she kept her... I don't know how you want to say it, but...
If she would have followed along, she might have been able to escape. With a lesser movie called Mandy, and without Nick Cage. Like, if Nick Cage wasn't the lead, like, if it was some no-name, like, you might have actually thought
it becomes a slasher movie, right?
Exactly. You might have actually thought she would be, like, the one getting out of this, you know? Like, she would be the one committing all these atrocities, like after...
Or Nick Cage is doing it for her while she's still in prison or something.
Well, I'm just more so saying she's like she knows how to deal with drugs, so she's just gonna let the shit wear off, and then whenever she's lucid again, she'll go out and like fucking
this whole, I've known about this movie since like 2019, and I always thought it was basically he was trying to like rescue her.
That's what I thought. Like Nick Cage is rescuing her, and she's just trapped or something.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was gonna be.
But... And that's what I'm saying. It really drives the point home, with the fact that he kills her, because that's the real world we live in, right? Yes. We do live in a male-dominated world where men do get to win a lot of the times, right? And they do get to control women. And so the fact that he kills her, like, it still gives her, like, it sounds weird to say it as like a moral victory, but that's what she gets, right? Like in the real world, she still dies, and Nick Cage still has to watch it happen. But then we get our kind of like movie resolution. Obviously, through the horror movie aspect of the second half.
It's what makes the revenge part of this movie so fucking amazing, is because we are completely bought into her, you know, as a person, basically.
But not only that, but it's like, okay. I want to get your guys' thought on this because we do get the happy ending, but it's also kind of his descent into hell.
Yeah,
you know, it literally is his descent to hell. Like there's like demons basically. What are the Hellraiser creatures? I don't know what you were calling them.
Cenobites. Yeah, that's what they're called.
Okay.
Yeah.
And even the people, the cult, obviously.
Yeah.
Like it kind of is his descent into hell, and we'll just start looking into Nick Cage. Obviously, this is his third of the movie.
It is. Yeah.
He gets to escape. Like it just looks terrible how he escapes. Like
it does. Well, because first he has to just watch her get burned, obviously, which that scene in general is very, very heartbreaking because literally, we love Mandy at this point, obviously, and we're just watching all the cult members like celebrate and point and laugh at her, except for the one young one I was talking about. The one younger girl that was in the cult, she's just watching kind of like this is like she's like kind of looking at what she would have been like if she would have been like Mandy almost, like she would have been dead. But and then you just see red, and then he ends up escaping. He's tied to like logs with barbed wire and shit, and he ends up escaping just because he gets so bloody that he gets slippery enough to escape. But I can't remember. The bathroom scene happens directly after he escapes, right?
Yes, he goes into the house.
Okay, because this is one of the best scenes in the movie for sure, is the bathroom scene. Because they just leave him there. They think he's just going to die tied up there, I guess. Which, I mean, if you had a guy tied up with barbed wire, you probably would assume the same thing.
Yeah.
But he escapes, goes in the house. He goes in the bathroom. I think he kills... Is someone there that he kills?
Yes,
I can't remember. I think there's someone in the house that he kills.
Yeah.
But the bathroom scene is one of the best scenes in the movie because, like, Nick Cage it's just him drinking an entire bottle of vodka.
Yep. We've all been there.
We've all been there. And just, like, literally letting all the emotion out before he can figure out kind of what to do, you know? Yeah. Because we all have these moments where something bad's happened, and then you just have to, like, let the emotions wash over you, and then you can figure out, like, what you need to do, you know?
Yeah, no, it's like it's such a raw, honest emotion scene. Because, like you're saying, even though the movie itself feels extreme in what's happening, that moment feels very real. You know, just a guy in his bathroom drinking vodka, just like he has no other way to express like how he's feeling except for just this mixture of like crying and yelling. This
mixture of like sadness and rage.
Yes, exactly. He goes back and forth. It's honestly an amazing scene.
It's an amazing
not
scene.
Just like honestly, we were kind of mentioning it earlier when Luke was talking about like people might overly focus on the style and just say style over substance. Like I could see like a lot of people do that with this scene, where they just like say, "Oh, see, this is like a Nick Cage scene. You know, he's going crazy." Like,
it's not.
But really, it is. But that's why it works because the director, like Nick Cage, is a great actor. You know, he is like not just a joke actor. He actually is a great actor. But you have to have a great director or a good director that uses him right. So like, it feels like the perfect combination of a Nick Cage going crazy as an acting scene, but in a realistic feeling motion scene.
It's going crazy, but it's a realistic feel, like going crazy.
It has the combination of that. Oh, it's Nicolas Cage like doing what he does best, but also it fits the content of the movie.
Yeah,
you know, like, and it does feel very real, like you're saying. You know, honestly, like way less stuff. Way less bad stuff could happen to us if we could still have that same kind of reaction.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, fucking, I go home after work one day and want to drink an entire bottle of vodka sometimes.
Yeah. So. You know, like your best player in fantasy gets injured, and like that's.
I mean, yes, exactly. Like me. Oh, okay. No, so after this scene, he goes to his friend.
His Lucius Fox.
Yeah, his Lucius Fox. He just lives in a trailer home or whatever. He's literally just goes there for information and to pick up weapons, and he tells them. Okay.
And I love this scene because it kind of suggests like Nicolas Cage's past without ever giving us anything. Yeah. Like, okay, this guy was clearly some kind of like. Honestly, the whole world itself, is it Earth?
Probably. Yeah, we don't know.
It looks like a weird variation of Earth. Like at the beginning of the movie, he's listening to a radio broadcast with Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
So like we know
it's definitely on Earth because like it's they're in some type of mountains. Like that's a real mountain. It's a real mountain range that we have in America. I'm pretty sure, but I don't know.
It could just be that everyone's on drugs. But,
exactly.
But
that's how I was
the cult's on harder drugs.
Well, because we'll get to it. Like, we're actually about to get to it, but Nick Cage does take acid eventually. But
no, yeah.
But not yet. So like after he gets the information from his friend that there are like these like there's this cult kind of starting, and like they have gotten really fucked up because there's this like new acid maker or like new LSD dealer that makes this really potent version of LSD. that if you take it like once, you get like really weird and stuff like that. And that's apparently what these like. I don't know if he was saying like that's what the Cenobites were, or if that's what Jeremiah was. So,
well, he gives the story of they. Someone made like a bad batch for them.
Yeah, a bad batch. That's what.
Yeah,
it was.
They were trying to fuck them up, but then like they were trying to kill them.
But they actually liked it.
They actually liked it, but it just really fucked them up.
Yeah, they like pain and stuff like that. So.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think he's talking about I think the Cenobites in this movie are not actually from hell. Obviously, they're supposed to be like a bad
they're
batch
supposed
of LSD.
they're supposed to be the realistic version of someone that's gone into hell, right?
Yeah, because they're like a biker.
Like,
they're like
human,
a biker gang.
You know?
Oh, they're definitely not.
I mean, think about what they're doing in the movie. You know, so they're definitely like. It's not hell like you would see in a classic horror movie, but it is. They're basically hellish creatures, you know.
They are hellish creatures.
But it would be like it's kind of like at least Cosmatos being like, what if someone took a shit ton of acid and all these drugs? And
I mean, it happens. So.
Yes.
Not to this extreme, probably, but
yes. But trying to make it at least a little bit more realistic.
Thankfully, as we've said already a few times this episode. But yeah, after he gets done with that, he goes to hunt them down. Finally, this is where the revenge, like the entirety of the rest of this movie is just all revenge.
And I feel like this part like went by like pretty fast.
It does go by extremely fast. Well, because like his pacing in this one is also so much better than Beyond the Black Rainbow. like it's you can't overstate how much better the pacing is in this movie because things are actually happening.
Well, because I like and I kind of like I think it makes sense to think about it kind of like in thirds. Because Beyond the Black Rainbow almost feels like just one, like, a girl trying to leave the prison. You know? And we get some interesting visuals with the doctor and in between a little bit. But this one kind of feels like her moving the first, and then kind of like we see the cult in the middle, and then we get the revenge slasher movie in the last third.
Yeah.
So it does feel like we're getting different stuff in the movie. Even if you were just describing the plot, it would sound kind of basic.
Yes.
Cult steals woman and kills her, and then guy goes for revenge. You know, like doesn't sound that hard to describe, but when you watch it does feel like you're getting a lot of new, interesting stuff. Like every time you see something.
Sure.
Yeah, because as we see, he goes to hunt the Cenobites, and the first one he takes down, he's just watching them. He literally has tracked them. Like at least that's the assumption we get. Is his past life is at least like some like an army or something. But what are you
okay, no. So is it after he kills the Cenobites where we meet the LSD maker and his like weird? Okay, it's after.
I'm pretty sure that's after the Cenobites, and then he goes to find the Jeremiah, and that's the last one. And that's
who tells him where Jeremiah is.
Yeah, okay. Because at first he goes to the Cenobites and he kills he shoots the first one with the arrow, and then he runs over him with the car and gets captured again, and then he has to escape again. Yeah, and this is the one where he actually does kill a few Cenobites.
I kind of like this scene too, because it just shows like, and this is what makes them different to me than just pure demons, like we were saying earlier, right? Because it shows like their human aspect.
Yeah.
Like they're just an awful looking house. This guy's just like watching porn on his TV.
Yeah.
You know, just like he's watching like a TV show.
Yep.
You know, like this is like how terrible these people, like just disgusting these people are. You know, there's like two people on the bed just like passed out. You know, like the whole kitchen's a mess. Like. I think at least a little bit he shows like the human aspect of these people, you know.
Yes.
That like a normal demon movie would just be like it would just look like hell, you know.
Yeah.
It's just like demons just chilling in hell.
Yeah, no, this literally just looks like a heroin den or something.
Yeah. It looks like just a more not pleasant human place to be. You know, instead of just a hell place, like hell or something, like you would expect they were from.
Yeah, you can understand. Well, maybe not understand, but you can understand why these people would want to take like LSD, you know, to like escape the situation almost.
Yeah.
But at least the scene with the guy watching porn, that scene of him killing him is really fucking cool because he just cuts his throat open with a knife and all the blood just spills over him. Oh, and this is whenever we get another Nick Cage in an air quotes scene where he just goes like
Yeah. Well, see, here's the thing. He's gone. He's I think at this point he's basically gone. You know,
he's gone. It's after this point where he's fully gone because after he cuts the thing's throat, he like sees the like an eye drop thing, and he just licks it, and then we get that really cool sequence of him like his brain like melting basically. He's like his mind's been opened almost.
Because
this is
I'm not
supposed to be
100%
Bad
sure. I
Batch,
think there's
I'm
some similar
sure.
shots between what this shows in his little montage thing and in the Doctors. In Beyond the Black Rainbow.
I think so. At least
because
it's similar. At least.
And because I'll mention now because I don't want to forget at the very end. Because remember, it's towards the ending of Beyond the Black Rainbow when the doctor's in his car.
Yes, I have that in my notes.
Okay,
I have that in my
good,
notes.
okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. Yeah, where the doctor like stares at the camera directly.
Yes, he does that. He
Nick
does
Cage,
that.
Obviously, I think I'm going to use that as a YouTube picture. So if you're
He
watching
does that. Yeah.
Honestly, my favorite shot in the movie.
Yeah, but like, that's kind of like he is Beyond the Black Rainbow.
Because we should. Yeah. Okay, we'll put that on the back burner for now.
Sorry, we got too excited.
Yeah, we got too excited because that's a really great scene. We also haven't mentioned that in between all these like title cards of like Mandy, the Children of the Dawn, or at least like after Mandy dies, like we actually see, because before, whenever they're still together at the house, Nick Cage wakes up, or Red wakes up from a bad dream, and she says, "Were you having a nightmare?" And then every time we see the animated sequences, at least that's supposed to be at least my like maybe that's the bad dream he was having almost, you know, like because all these are dreams.
Because for the whole time he's chasing her, he never sees her in live action, at least on the movie. He only sees her as animation.
Yeah.
Until the very end, after he kills the cult leader, then we see her obviously in the car. Yeah. He sees her, as a real person again. Mm-hmm. So like
it's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's interesting because all the animated. I'm glad I remember that because I didn't want to forget the animated parts. Yeah. But we finally after he kills the Cenobites, we go to the LSD maker, and this is where he finds out where Jeremiah is. I don't remember how he kills the LSD maker. I know he does kill him, but I don't remember how. I think he just cuts his head off with an axe. We forgot the axe. We forgot about him forging the axe.
Yeah, music. That's also. I think that's gonna be the music I play at the end of the.
He forges a literal axe, which is just like
on the score. It's called Forging the Beast.
He is forging a beast.
Yeah, sure. I don't know if it's as good as the Endgame, Avengers Endgame.
Oh my gosh!
Get off the podcast. Get out of here.
Damn, I love how that movie references. You're such an expert on it.
I know, yeah. Give me a PhD
Honestly,
in film
studies.
studies.
Like a YouTube channel trying to compare Marvel shots to classic movies.
Honestly,
just to troll people.
Bro, you give me good ideas.
Trademark. No, okay, now that we mentioned that again, he kills the LSD maker, and the LSD maker tells him kind of where to find or where to find Jeremiah, basically. Mm-hmm. And so we finally get him going after Jeremiah, and all the stuff from ever since he's gotten out to this point is just all really well lit, really cool, just really cool shit. At this point, he's completely bloody, and the blood never leaves him the rest of the movie.
Red, orange, red and yellow a lot. Yeah,
and there's a reason his name's probably called Red. But but yeah, he's driving up to where they are or where the cult resides. He sees someone sitting around a fireplace. He shoots them through the neck with an arrow. Goes over there. The guy's not dead because that's also a Cenobite apparently, and he ends up beating him, cuts his head off with an axe, which is really cool because this is another scene where the guy, the creature there is saying she's still burning in hell, before he kicks him into literally to where he's burning as well. Then we get the chainsaw duel, which is fucking awesome. Okay. I love that scene so much. I think it is mine too. Honestly, yeah. Because it's just the confidence he has. He picks up the chainsaw and he's like, oh yeah. Yes. Well, because it's like the Army of Dark, or the Evil Dead 2 type of thing, or Army of Darkness type of thing, where he finds the chainsaw. But I don't know. It's
especially because his chainsaw's not working.
Yeah, he's it's the slasher thing. If he's literally walking up behind someone trying to scare them by starting up the chainsaw, and it's just not starting, and then the guy, it's just a perfect way to reveal the chainsaw because he's just sitting there on a log. And then he sees him coming over with the chainsaw, and he just slowly pulls out a chainsaw from behind the log.
Oh, it's funny. It's one of the funniest moments, because he has a bigger chainsaw, of course. I think Nick Cage's face is almost oh, of course.
Exactly. It's hilarious.
It's he's almost walking up he has an amazing idea to come up with a chainsaw, and then the fact that the guy pulls out a bigger chainsaw right behind him.
It's so fun. It's such a funny scene, honestly. And it's a great fight scene.
It's a great fight scene, too.
It's a great fight scene, because Nick Cage's chainsaw doesn't work for a long time. Finally ends up working, and then I think he ends up just knocking the guy over onto his own chainsaw.
Yeah, he wraps him with the chain.
Yeah, that's
pulls him down. It's a cool.
It's a really cool
kill scene too.
It's a really cool kill scene. And then after that, we get to him killing the actual cult members. I don't remember in what way they fall.
Yeah, they all die. I remember people dying. Honestly.
They all die. The most satisfying ones are probably the Well, I think he lets that one girl go.
That's what I was just about to say. He lets
that one girl go while he kills the other guy because I hate that guy. That was one of the most satisfying to me whenever he just shoves the
eye thing. He squeezes by his face or something.
That was Jeremiah. This is the one where he finds them on like the girl and that older dude on the road.
Yeah, no, that's what I was talking about.
He doesn't crush his face in; he stabs him through the throat with his axe. Right. And that's also a callback to Beyond the Black Rainbow because that's one of the things that the guy does at the very end of the movie to the fat guy. He stabs him through the throat with his dagger. Okay. But
no, dude, because that guy's face like throughout the movie is one of my favorites too.
He's got a very creepy face because this is a guy that you could believe wasn't tricked into being in this cult, you know?
Well, that's the thing. It's like, that's why, I mean, cults are tricky. Like, where do you draw the line between being tricked versus someone that really wants to do it?
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of people in cults want to be there. You know, it's free will, technically. Like, you can't just kick someone out of a cult because, you know, they're a person that's saying they want to be there. So it's a gray area between tricked and, you know.
Yeah. I mean, this is at least this guy is, like, Jeremiah's main disciple, you would assume, you know?
Because this is... And it kind of relates to this scene too, because you know how he leaves the girl alive, and you could ask why he does that. And I don't know if they ever say this in the movie, but I kind of got the impression that she was the daughter. No, she was the daughter of the older woman.
Oh, interesting. I didn't get that. I thought
just from the way they look at each other and stuff, because and that's why I think like he might have shown mercy to her because he saw her as like she really doesn't have that kind of choice that those other two had. Or maybe some of the other people did.
I thought of her as just another Mandy kind of that just didn't have the strength kind of to just laugh in his face almost.
Yes. Where she kind of that's true. I mean, that could be true too.
But I do like yours too. No, I feel like she just can't. She literally can't escape almost.
Yes, yeah, like she was born into it. Yeah. While the other people had choices.
Yeah, I don't know because the old lady in this, she's also she's the last person to die, and she's a very satisfying death scene because we don't even see her death scene, we just see her head, her head later. But she's trying to seduce him and shit. But
this is where like it relates kind of to what the Beyond the Black Rainbow ending, where like we get the guy that's been leading up as this huge cult figure just dying kind of like comedic death.
Yes.
But like his reaction to the head is how you know it's not going to be a normal ending.
Exactly.
Right? Because like when he just screams like,
it's fucking hilarious because he's just like, do not come any further. Think, you are entering the presence of God.
Yes.
And then Nick Cage just throws the head there. He's like, ooh.
Because you would expect like if it was like trying to take itself, you know, like trying to build him up as a bad.
If it was an A24 movie.
Or I was thinking more just like I don't know. Name your movie anyway. Just like classic bad.
I'm just saying that, like the very end of Mandy is literally an A24 movie, but way better. Like tell me Midsommar didn't do this fucking thing, but like just like worse. Like the ending of Midsommar is literally the same fucking thing. Like that's
why I disagree. This movie kind of has. It has a climax, but it feels anticlimactic.
No, I mean just like the chapel burning in the background, like that, like just that shot in general.
I think there's different meanings behind both.
Yeah,
because in Midsommar it's her basically letting go of. It's like good for her moment, you know.
Her letting go.
They're both a good for them moments. That's the thing.
That's where I disagree. With
what do you think the red is?
I think Nick Cage is literally just that's the point where he's like gone fully mad.
I don't think he's gone fully mad because at least to me, whenever he kills Jeremiah, like because he smushes his face in, like whenever he's actually done. And this is another thing because like right before he actually kills him, he's like, "I'll suck your dick, man."
Yes.
And then like he's literally on the ground on his knees right in front of him, and he crushes his head. And then Nick Cage was like, "Oh."
Oh yes. No,
so it's literally like he's trying, like it's his release, you know. It's they're both releases for these characters, you know. Yes. But I mean, like I was just mostly making a joke about the A24 shit, but it's definitely like the aesthetic, like that's what more so why I was saying like. They're trying for a certain aesthetic and they don't succeed all the time.
Yes.
Whereas in this movie, I think it succeeds completely.
No, it does. But this is where I don't know if it's positive though. Like Midsommar is trying to say like, oh, she won. You know, she burned down the thing. Kind of, she got over it. Like, and there is a similarity with this one too. Like you're saying, it is like his release, literally at the end. You know, but I don't know if it's trying to. I don't know if it's saying like, you know, with him. You know, we'll talk about. You know, we could just mention the last scene, obviously, and him looking into the camera. You know. Seeing her or looking over it while he's driving, he sees her, and then we see his like reaction, kind of him looking at her, and it's like he's just gone insane.
Oh yeah, for
sure. You know, like fully smiling and stuff. The same, like, and I mentioned earlier with the Doctor and Beyond the Black Rainbow.
Yeah,
and that's what made me think like I don't think he's gone beyond the Black Rainbow. He's saying
he has, yeah,
right?
for sure.
And I don't think that's a good thing.
I don't know. Yeah.
Especially because one of the last shots is.
I don't think it's a bad thing though either, because like this is the only way this movie could have ended, is like him basically kind of going.
But that doesn't mean it's a good thing. It's
I don't
because,
think so. Yeah.
Like he's saying like Nick Cage was part of this process. You know, like at least like because those other stuff happened, it turned him into
this
like one of those creatures too almost.
Well, yes, because he took that acid that turned him into.
Well, that's the literal version. I'm saying
because
because of this stuff, this made him another one of those creatures almost. I don't know if he's actually going to turn that bad, but I'm saying he's down that path almost.
Yeah.
Because she was because I mentioned this earlier. We don't really know what his previous life was.
No. Yeah.
You know. Like,
no, we just know that there was trauma in both their pasts. Yes. That's all we really know.
And it kind of makes sense that she would be the one holding him to Earth still. And maybe this is him going back.
No, and I think that's what I definitely think that's what it's trying to say, because at least whenever they were talking at home before like all this stuff happened, they were asking like what their favorite planets were at Saturn, Jupiter, and those are the two planets I'm pretty sure they're in the sky.
That's what I was going to mention. Yeah. So like and this is kind of another thing. Like, is this even the real world we're seeing, or is this just his?
I think it's his
dream
world for sure.
Yeah, his.
But
world.
See, that's why I think maybe it is his dream, because I think at a certain point this might all this could just be a bad dream,
or an acid trip.
An acid trip.
He takes the acid. He's actually still in prison or something, or he's still locked up, and this is in his head. It wouldn't, and we've mentioned this like with Fellini and stuff, where it really doesn't matter at that point. Like,
if
really the movie's taking place in a single character's head, or if it's taking place in the movie's world itself. We're still watching the same movie, But.
Does Mandy say anything to him? I can't remember, because at least this is the thing that made me think about it whenever I was watching Beyond the Black Rainbow, because I finished Beyond the Black Rainbow today actually, and so like I watched that scene literally a couple hours ago, and the doctor looks to the right just like Red does whenever he looks to the right to look at Mandy. And the doctor sees himself there, and he like his normal self with like the hair and the eyes put back in and stuff, and he's just like looking at him, and the doctor's looking back, and he says, "You're doing great."
Yep.
And then like I don't know, I feel like Mandy said something similar to Red, but I can't remember.
I think she does,
because I think she says something like that, which that would also add into what you were kind of saying about how this might not be a good thing,
Yeah. No.
Where like this process of like just like male aggression just leads to more male aggression almost, like
and that's why
it's just I don't know. Okay. No, but that is the end of Mandy, just him driving off, and then like we just see the two planets up in the sky.
We see that beautiful smile.
We see that. We do see that beautiful smile.
Yep.
But yes, I definitely love Mandy. It is one of my favorite movies probably, and definitely, at least this time watching, way above Beyond the Black Rainbow, which before I did not think that, but this time I definitely think that.
Yeah. No, I agree.
What about you guys?
No, I agree too. This is still a really great movie to me, Mandy. Beyond the Black Rainbow really fell because I didn't know I gave it a 4.5 when I rated it.
I didn't either. I was surprised.
I was like, damn. I was like, because watching this time, I was like, when does this get good?
Yeah,
when is
kind of.
Black Rainbow? When is this gonna start picking up? And it kind of just
it doesn't really,
Yeah. And this one definitely like I said earlier, it feels enough. There's enough change in the simple story, visually wise, and story wise too, to where it keeps me interested the whole time.
There's enough change, and it's just like he grew a lot. And like this is the thing with Panos Cosmatos is
8 years apart.
He doesn't make a lot of movies.
He's only made two.
He's only made two. These are his only two movies. And it took 7 years. I think 7 years. I think.
And Letterboxd says he has a movie coming out this year, though.
I did see that actually. Yeah.
I doubt it, but we'll see.
Hey, there's a header for it.
Is it A24? Is it A24 also? I'm pretty sure it is.
I don't think that's this one. This one's only an hour long. Called
it's only an hour long.
Yeah. The A24 one is called Necrocosm, but they don't have a release date for that yet.
Okay. But see, that's just another thing. A24 going after Panos, but
to go to your point, let's read you the description of the A24 movie he's making. A phantasmagorical fantasy nightmare set deep within a strange galaxy where two lovers are torn apart as they try to survive a malevolent invasion.
I'd watch it.
So like Mandy, just with a little different plot.
It sounds like it's got some similar vibes to a Mandy description. So,
I mean, if he's gonna remake the same movie, I'm good with that.
Me too.
Plus, I'm even just visually wise to watch a movie. I'm hoping that this A24 one comes in theaters because we didn't get to watch Mandy in theaters. So.
No, yeah, we didn't get to watch Mandy in theaters.
Just to watch one of these kind of visual movies in theaters would be really cool.
It would be. What about you, Luke? end us out here.
Mandy,
with your thoughts.
Had a great time. Again, I mean, I agree basically with what you guys said. It felt more substantial and more had a purpose. I feel like more than Beyond the Black Ranger, which I didn't enjoy really at all. Well, actually, I enjoyed it. No.
You enjoyed the visuals.
Visuals were good. So. Everything bad.
Everything
else bad. But yeah,
I like the score too. But
okay, yeah, it's even worse than bad. It was just kind of boring.
Yes, boring.
Outside of the visuals, I mean, which are cool, but even visuals is boring. Just
and like I said, like I think the pacing in that is definitely is for a reason. It's supposed to be that slow because you're supposed to be with her in this type of like waking dream, at least in my opinion. But it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
And I mean, come on, if you listen to this podcast, like we're not against slow movies.
No, we are not against slow movies at all.
Yeah, I hate.
I hold slower movies to a higher bar, basically.
Yeah, I hate. Like to me, like I hate calling movies boring. I like to challenge myself to think of a different criticism a lot of the time.
Yes, like, except for I do actually think this movie is just boring. Like that's kind of my worst.
I'm not disagreeing.
But I don't want to say it's fully boring because I do really appreciate $1 million budget and it looks great.
Definitely,
it still looks great. Like so I can't call it boring all the way.
You can't hate completely, obviously.
Yeah. It is maybe because you kind of said it was kind of a. No, actually you were talking about a different movie, but you were saying. Exhausting was a different movie, but this one kind of feels exhausting outside of the visuals.
I'll just say I would be way more mad about Beyond the Black Rainbow if he didn't make Mandy, because at least it feels like it does feel like he heard criticism or at least saw criticism in his own finished movie and decided to fix it, which a lot of directors don't do.
And it's first movie, so come on.
It's his first movie.
8 years apart, so.
Yeah. But does someone want to introduce what we're doing next week? Because I still don't really know what we're doing, but.
I mean, all it is a director movie draft.
It's our first draft.
Okay. Our first draft. I think it's an interesting way because I mean, we wanted to do a top directors movie list, and then I was like,
it can't be too boring,
It'd be a lot of the
same. But
It'd
we
be a
might
lot
have
of
the same
same
director.
Sure.
That's true. Yeah.
So we want to spice it up to where only one person can pick a director.
And we have different categories. We'll have a full
we'll talk about it next week.
It'll be fun though.
Top director.
Yeah, hopefully.
It'll get us to think about one of my favorite subjects or all of our favorite subjects. So
yes,
directors.
Yes, sir.
But
yeah.
All right.
But thanks for joining us this week, and until then, I hope we see you floating through the clouds.